What is up, and welcome back to Hit or Miss Music with me, your boy Spencer. And today I'm going to be reviewing the Kendrick Damn Tour that I just went to. So yeah, if you don't know, Kendrick's tour for his latest album, Damn, is featuring Travis Scott and DRAM. And today I just want to go over my experience at the concert. So I hadn't heard anything about this concert. I hadn't done any YouTube searches. I hadn't looked at pictures. The only thing I really did was look at the set list. I just want to see what kind of songs that Kendrick was going to perform and what kind of songs Travis was going to perform. I wasn't really concerned with DRAM. Yeah, but I was really excited for this concert because I enjoyed both Kendrick's Damn and Travis Scott's Birds in the Trap Sing Bright at Night. So I was really pumped for this whole concert and whole experience because I hadn't seen either of these artists before. I definitely enjoy concerts. I've gone to a lot of concerts, especially during my college career. Up until going to college, I had actually never been to a concert. My first concert was the tour that Drake did for his Nothing Was the Same album. That concert included Miguel, Future, Party Next Door, and that was actually the first time that I was introduced to Party Next Door, which is kind of really cool because I really got into his music. And he was actually someone that I saw as a solo artist later on. I also went to J. Cole's Forest Hill Drive concert that had Big Sean and YG. And then I've also been to the Drake versus Lil Wayne concert, So I just want to jump right in. I'd gone with a bunch of friends. So right when we get there, you can totally tell that there's just this energy that was at the concert that I feel like Kendrick in general carries that type of atmosphere around with him, and just the addition of Travis Scott, kind of the blend of those two styles is something that I think was really interesting to a lot of people because we associate Travis Scott with production and sort of this specific type of trap environment, that trap infused music that he has. And then you also have that contrasted with Kendrick's more conscious, as he calls it, or lyrical focus. But I mean, even as you could tell with his album Damn, that this album was definitely heavy on production because he definitely was trying to appeal to a wider audience with this album. This is definitely very different than To Pimp a Butterfly, where he was definitely going for a specific message. With this album, he was going for more of commercial album, especially like a lot of the tracks like Loyalty, and you could probably even say that about Humble. So me and my friends, we didn't actually go early enough to see DRAM just because we weren't that interested. I haven't heard anything about his performance that really jumped out to people, so I'm not really going to cover his performance. But I did see Travis Scott's performance, and personally, as a big Travis Scott fan, as a La Flame fan, it was awesome. I mean, I couldn't believe that I was watching him in person. We actually had really good seats, and he brought a lot of energy to the stage. I mean, he was excited from the first song. The songs that he performed were from Rodeo, were from Before the Rodeo, were from Birds in the Trap, were from a couple of his singles, some of his features, but the ones that really stood out to me had to be Way Back, which is at the beginning of Birds in the Trap, and that's one of my favorite songs off of that album just because of the kind of atmosphere it creates and that sound that is so Travis Scott. And then a couple songs later, he did Butterfly Effect, which is a single that came out relatively recently that I really enjoyed, which once again is just quintessential Travis Scott, and it just really got, it really got us amped up, especially because at this point he had actually got up on a mechanical bird. Like, it literally was like a mechanical bird hanging off through these wires that he was riding around and just performing on, and that just brought the whole stadium alive. Like, you could see the people around me, like the building was literally shaking. And then while he was on top of the bird, he performed a lot of his famous features and a lot of his well-known tracks. He performed kind of the beginning of Father Stretch My Hands Part 1 off of The Life of Pablo by Kanye West. He also performed his verse off of Love Galore by SZA. And then later on, he also did probably my favorite song on Birds in the Trap, which was Sweet Sweet. I mean, that song just bumps anytime you play it, and just hearing it on such a big system, hearing it on that level of production was a great experience for me, and definitely a great experience for everybody inside of the whole stadium because everybody was feeling it. And then he closed it out with probably his most popular songs. So he did his verse off of Portland, the Drake song that he featured on. He also performed Pick Up the Phone, which was a huge single that was released before the actual album, Birds in the Trap. And then he also did his I wouldn't know if I'd categorize it as a breakout hit, but his probably most popular song he's ever made, Antidote, which, I mean, everybody was into that song when that song came on. Like, the building was shaking when the beat dropped on that song. Like, it was just wild, and you had to, like, be there to experience it. He did close it out with Goosebumps, which was a great song off of that album, but the disappointing part was that it wasn't a transition between him and Kendrick with that song, which is what I would have preferred. Because what they did was they had to perform Goosebumps and then they just stopped, switched the stage around, and then that's when Kendrick would come on. I would have preferred it if they would have ended it with Antidote and then brought him back on for Goosebumps as the opener for Kendrick's kind of performance. But overall, it was a very good performance, well worth the money that I paid for it. For seeing him for the first time, it was definitely a great experience, and I'll definitely see him again down the road. This also has me really excited for his next album. I can't wait for it to come out, see what kind of progression he goes with, see if he experiments with different things, or whether he tries to stay in kind of this production lane that he's in, because I mean, he is a great producer. His sound is very unique. Moving on to King Kendrick's performance, or as it is in the concert, Kung Fu Kenny. I mean, the whole production of this concert is centered around kind of his journey of learning different skills, and then it comes out in the different tracks that he performs. So it starts out with this video presentation, and then it starts with him kind of kneeling down, and then he slowly rises and starts performing. And as he's rising, it starts playing the beginning of that first intro track, which was Blood. So it plays that background news clip of Fox News going with that whole spiel. And then he jumps straight into DNA. And right when you hear the I got, like the place goes crazy. And one thing about the venue that I was at is that it's a really big kind of open venue, not like a lot of basketball stadiums that you'd be in. It's a really big open air kind of stadium, and so it's really hard in general. I've been to a couple concerts there. It's really hard to get a specific atmosphere and have that intimacy with an artist, because there's so much space between levels of fans, and there's also a lot of space just in between different sections, and then a lot of space between the performer. Once he started performing, you could definitely feel kind of a continuity within the stadium that I really only associate with smaller venues. So he performs all of these songs on the large front stage, performs about 10 songs, just clips of each song. He does a variation of songs. He does songs from Damn, he does songs from Untitled Unmastered, so he does the Levitate, 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 all of that. And then he also throws in the Mask Off remix, which verse I really enjoyed. He also throws in his verse on Collard Greens by Schoolboy Q, and he also throws in one of the songs from Good Kid, Mad City. He ends kind of his first act with some songs off of Good Kid, Mad City. So he does Swimming Pools and Backstreet Freestyle, which are, I mean, those are Kendrick's songs. Like, when those songs come on, people's ears, you know what I mean? People's ears go up, and you listen, and you just feel it kind of move through the floor, move through the air and into your ears, and you can feel it in your body, and you start to tense up, because it's just a certain feeling that you get once those songs come on, because for a lot of people, they bring up a lot of memories. I remember Good Kid, Mad City came out right when I was entering into college, and that album was really the standard bearer for a while. And then he ends with a little speech talking to his fans, talking about his original, you know what I mean, Section 80 tours, where he talks about small crowds, and now he's built up to this. And then he ends his kind of first act with Loyalty, which is a really exciting song. I mean, it's a really personal song for everybody in the building. Then there's kind of an intermission or interlude where he has dancers on stage A after the lights go dark, the lights come back up, and you have dancers performing on the big stage while he makes his way to more of a center small stage that is stage B. And on stage B, he is kind of kneeled down, and what happens is that a cage of kind of, you know, those beads, kind of like those 70s beads, and they're kind of surrounding him in like a cage, and it rises with him inside. And during this time, he's rapping Lust, so he's going through, you know, the whole waking up in the morning and the repetition of those verses as they blend together. And then the next song he does is Money Trees, once again off of Good Kid, Mad City, which is another classic hit off of that album. And at this moment, I mean, just the energy in the crowd is immeasurable. And then at the end of that song, the lights cut out again, and then the video screen plays kind of the second half of the introduction video of Kung Fu Kenny, and it has him battling another individual, kind of fighting it out while he makes his way, obviously making time for him to move. And then when the lights come on, you see him in a completely different outfit. He begins the performance in kind of a yellow tracksuit, and then once he comes back from stage B to stage A, you see the lights come on and he is wearing a red tracksuit. And then after this, he performs Triple X and a couple of other songs off of Damn. So now that he's back at stage A, he performs Triple X and Mad City, which are really a good pair together. So after those two songs, he plays three kind of slower songs. I imagine them actually as kind of like a climb up a roller coaster, because you can feel that we're getting to this crescendo. And as you're climbing, you're hearing these kind of soothing songs, and you can imagine yourself on a roller coaster getting to this thinner air. And then he just takes you all the way down with these hard-hitting enders. So he ends with All Right, and then there's a video, and then what happens after that is like literally the crowd sings almost the entire Humble song, and then he ends up replaying it with him singing it as you kind of join in, as we all join in together. So after this point, the song ends, he thanks the fans, the lights cut off, he goes off. And then everybody starts yelling because everybody wants the encore, everybody's yelling, he's yelling, he's yelling. And so he comes back out, everybody's going crazy. People are stomping on the floor, and you can feel the floor shake and the building shaking. I mean, it was just crazy. And then he ends up performing the last song, God. And it was just a great experience to just share that with thousands of people. But just kind of some logistical thoughts. I thought the use of two stages was awesome. I like the fact that he didn't spend too much time on the B stage, just because it was kind of a smaller, more secluded stage, which didn't let him really perform. So I was glad that he used it, but I'm also glad that he didn't overuse it. And then for both artists, I was really excited and pleased that both of them performed for a really long time. I mean, I showed up personally, I really enjoyed that. I mean, Travis Scott, I think, almost did 20 songs, and then I'm pretty sure he did almost 20 songs, and then Kendrick did at least 20 songs. There was even a point during a couple of the songs where they had the people hold up the flashlight parts of their phones, which can seem kind of cheesy, but when everybody does it and actually participates, it's really a cool thing to see. It's awesome. But overall, it's definitely worth the money. If you guys have a chance, I definitely encourage you to go check it out, especially with both of these artists, because Travis Scott in general has music that gets you hyped. Like the music that he produces and the music that he performs just brings up your energy, and then the music that Kendrick has also does that to an extent, but at the same time just gives you this emotional kind of release that you don't get with a lot of artists. And then finally, this probably is going to have to go down. I don't want to feel like a prisoner of the moment, but it definitely is the best concert I've ever been to. I mean, obviously my first concert seeing Drake is going to hold a special seeing my first concert being Drake is going to hold a special place in my heart. Also, seeing J. Cole's Forest Hills Drive concert, which was an album that I personally loved, and the fact that he also had YG and Big Sean, who had both come out with, really good albums. But once again, if you guys have a chance, I really encourage you to go check it out. It's a great concert to go to. The vibe is there. But yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. This is just, my opinion about this concert that I went to. But I'm hopefully going to do a couple more of these. Concert season kind of dies down here over where I am on the West Coast during the beginning part of school season. But I'll probably be going to Bryson Tiller in a couple weeks. And then I'm also hoping to go to the ASAP Mob concert, which should be coming towards the end of the month. And then the only one that they've really planned out is the Jay-Z 444 tour, which I'm definitely going to see, but that's all the way in December. But I'm hoping to make a playlist out of all these reviews. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you liked me, make sure to subscribe. A lot of videos coming out just about album reviews and definitely concert reviews as they come. But yeah, this has been, me, your boy Spencer with Hit or Miss Music. I hope you have more hits than misses. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.